This morning I felt like listening to Michael Jackson, so there's Michael Jackson playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. So I apologize. Or if you like Michael Jackson, you're welcome. So let's go ahead and just go over the homework for today. Or the homework from yesterday, but we're going to go over it today. But anyways, so I've already got everything kind of set up. So make sure whenever you do the graphs, you should have 4 marks on all of them, and then make sure you remember the formula for the amplitude and the period. But anyways, let's just jump right in. So here's the first one, number 1. I have 2 cosine 2x. So a is going to be the 2 that's in front, and b is a number in front of x. So for the amplitude, it's the absolute value of a. So in this case, the absolute value of 2. Which is just 2, so that's done. Then for the period, it's 2 pi divided by whatever number b is. So in this case, b is also 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here. So then I just need to simplify that answer. 2 pi over 2 would simplify to just 1 over 1, or just 1 pi. So I'm just going to write 1 pi there. Okay, so then amplitude is what goes on the end, so this is going to be pi on one end and negative pi on the other end. Then do the halfway point. What's halfway between 0 and 1 pi is going to be half pi. So I'm going to write 1/2 pi right here. So pi over 2. Same thing over here, negative pi over 2. And then the amplitude was 2, so then my graph is going to go all the way up to 2 and down to negative 2. Okay, so then, and then the last part is the fact that this one is cosine. So cosine starts at the top of its wave. So I'm going to start this at the top. Then the next mark over, it's going to be in the middle. Then the next mark is a negative. Then the next mark is the middle. And then the last mark is the top of the wave, back where it started. Connect those, and there's your cosine wave. Now I just need to continue the wave on the negative side, so I'll continue the points down, middle, negative, middle, positive where I started, and then connect those dots, and boom, there you go, there's a graph. All right, next one. Number 2 was 3 sine and then 1/4 x. So 3 is going to be a and 1/4 is b. So for the amplitude, take the absolute value of 3 in this case. So that's just going to be 3. For the period, you take 2 pi divided by 1/4. So let's change 1/4 to be a decimal. So, well, let me just write it. 1/4 there. And my girlfriend's cat's meowing. I just can't win today. Anyways, so 2 pi divided by 0.25. Let's just change that to a decimal. Your final answer, though, should never be a decimal, though. I saw a lot of you guys on your homework had your final answer as the period being a decimal. Should never be that. So you would go on a calculator. 2 divided by 0.25 would give you 8. So this would be 8 pi. All right, so then that's what's going to go here. 8 pi and negative 8 pi. And the halfway point, that's going to be 4 pi, because halfway between 0 and 8. So, voice still cracks. Great. The amplitude was 3, so 1, 2, 3 up here, and negative 3 down here. And then this one is sine. So then when you graph this, sine starts in the middle and then goes up. So then I'm going to start there. Start in the middle. So starts in the middle and then goes up to the top of the wave, then back to the middle, down to the negative, then back to the middle. Connect those dots, and there's your sine wave. Just like that. It looks kind of like a sideways S, if you will. Now we just need to continue it into the negatives. So point there, at the top, and then back to the middle. It'll make another S. Identical, basically. And then just continue the wave, draw an arrow. And there you go. There's your sine wave. Last one is 8 sine 1/5. So 8 is your A and 1/5 is B. So amplitude, absolute value of 8 is going to be 8. And then for the period is going to be 2 pi divided by 1/5. But we're going to need to change that to a decimal. So 2 pi divided by, I already know it's 0.2. And then when you divide, looks like that's going to be, I think it's 10 pi, if I remember correctly. So then 10 pi over here, negative 10 pi over here. Halfway between 0 and 10 pi is going to be 5 pi. And negative 5 pi on the other side. Then the amplitude was 8, so then just put a mark all the way at the top, and let's call that 8. It would go way off the graph if I tried to actually count those, so I'm just gonna call that 8 and negative 8. Easy. And then, let's see, this one is sine. So sine starts in the middle of the wave, just like the last problem. So start in the middle, next one is gonna be up at the top, then back to the middle, down to the negative, and back to the middle. So you can see this wave is gonna be a little bit taller than, well, a lot bit taller than the 3 amplitude that we had in the last problem. So continue the points to make the wave in the negative side, and there you go. Just connect the dots, it'll make another S. And there you go. All right, so your homework for today is to just go on Edsby and ask any questions that you have. So you'll go on there, click take test, even though it's not a test. If you have a question, submit it and I will answer your question. If you don't have any questions, just write, I understood it, or I understood what I got wrong, or I got it right, or whatever. Just make sure you submit something.